Good day, guys. Everything new on the sun here. Got a couple of articles. This is from WashingtonPost.com, and obviously this is about Israel and the Temple Mount. Israeli leaders condemn UN resolution on Jerusalem holy site, and we know that there will be a peace, a covenant, peace treaty, not so much made with Israel, but really enforced upon Israel. And you can see world powers basically coming against Jerusalem, the Temple Mount. Donald Trump, for example, a U.S. presidential candidate, is suggesting that he's going to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, whereas the Obama administration, and I assume Hillary, will not recognize Jerusalem as capital and would prefer to recognize Tel Aviv as capital and move the embassies there, and not just the capital, I guess, but Jerusalem actually being part of Israel. I think Obama and Hillary like to think that it's an international city, and it seems like that's the way the world's going, and UNESCO as well. So let's have a read of this article here. Israeli politicians reacted angrily to the resolution approved Thursday by the UN Cultural Agency that criticizes Israel's action in and around Jerusalem's holiest site, and fails explicitly to refer to the Jewish connection to the place. The UNESCO resolution, which was submitted by 7 Arab countries, of course, at a meeting in Paris, highlights a long list of what is called Israeli violations of Haram al-Sharif and Al-Aqsa Mosque, Islam's third holiest site after Mecca and Medina, and other Muslim holy sites in the West Bank. The document outlines Israeli refusal to implement previous decisions by UNESCO concerning Jerusalem and to appoint a permanent representative of the organization to be stationed there. It also criticizes Israel's persistent excavations in East Jerusalem, particularly in the Old City, and its failure to free access to the mosque. What they fail to report on is the Muslims' persistent excavations of the Temple Mount, which is even, in theory, worse than any locations in and around Jerusalem, because I mean, Temple Mount is the holy Temple Mount, right? Apparently by 3 world religions, and the Muslims have been excavating there without permit, without permission, to renovate Al-Aqsa Mosque, and no one brings that up. And of course, Israel's archaeologists and archaeological institutes, whatever, have been going through the rubble piles that they have excavated from Al-Aqsa Mosque, from the Temple Mount, and find all sorts of interesting archaeology that points to, or items that point to Israel actually indeed having all the history on the Temple Mount, pointing back to King David and all the other, the Second Temple, etc., on the Temple Mount. So, of course, they don't mention that. I want to look at one other article here, and this is from jpost.com. Bennett suspends Israeli cooperation with UNESCO after Temple Mount vote. Education Minister Naftali Bennett decided Friday morning to immediately freeze all Israeli cooperation with UNESCO because of its decision to declare top Jewish holy sites Muslim. They want to declare all the Jewish holy sites as Muslim sites, I guess to make the Muslims happy and hope that there's no more war, and hoping that Israel will just go with it. But obviously you see the whole world against Israel here in this case. Due to Bennett's decision, there will be no meetings with UNESCO officials, cooperation in international conference, or professional cooperation with the organization. Bennett said he made the decision because UNESCO has given a boost to terror. Your decision denies history and encourages terror, Bennett wrote. The countries of UNESCO, those who give prizes to the supporters of jihad in Jerusalem, the same week that 2 Jews are murdered in the city, God forbid, encourage more victims. The Western world stands before UNESCO and against terror. just as they opposed terror in Aleppo, they must unite against diplomatic terror in Jerusalem. So the whole world and UNESCO is coming against Israel, coming against Jerusalem, coming against the Temple Mount, which is owned by the Jewish people. It was given to them and promised to them by God. And the Jews have historical evidence that it was always theirs. The temples were built there. King David's house was built there, in the stable. And there's no end to the historical artifacts and confirmation in history that they own and have occupied the site long before any other people were there, and have the right to it. And like I say, Jerusalem will be a burdensome stone. And prophetically, the world is going to force a peace covenant on Jerusalem, which is likely going to divide the Temple Mount. And that's going to usher in the third temple. That probably the carrot on the stick will probably be the third temple. Look, if you split up the Temple Mount into 3 pieces for the 3 world religions that claim it, Christianity, Jews, and the Muslims, Islam. If you split it up 3 ways, then you can build your Temple Mount, and everybody will be happy. There will be peace everywhere. And that is obviously the assumption the world is making, that there will be peace if they do this, and there absolutely will not be. But that's what they're trying to push. And so we're looking for, I think there will be a split up of the Temple Mount, and we're sort of looking for that. But the Jews, in this case Bennett, is standing up against it, and voting against it, and doing what they can to prevent it. And I think they do have the right to prevent it, but the world eventually will push that on them, whether they like it or not. So a couple of articles there, guys, and this is just more news that more prophetically significant news, that we're getting close to the Lord's return, and that the Holy Land, Israel, is a prophetically significant area, obviously, and they're moving to split up, to divide the land, and the Lord has great warnings about dividing the land of Israel, and He will not stand for that ultimately. I will leave it there, guys. Thanks for watching. Check out the articles in the description.